I want to share with you an excerpt from Desi Delicacies. This is a collection of 18 essays, short stories, recipes, and illustrations on food from Muslim South Asia and diaspora, and I edited this book. For me, one of the most important and special things about Desi Delicacies is that it differs from the issue-based or problem-centered topics South Asian Muslims are often expected to write about. Instead, the volume offers a delicious, sensual exploration of the adage that we are what we eat. Put differently, food is an important marker of identity for any culture. What people consume or refuse to consume becomes a highly detectable, or indeed delectable, identity marker in the context of post-coloniality and migration. Food's flexible, identity-oriented qualities evidently whetted the writer's creative appetites. The subject of food from South Asian Muslims was interpreted broadly by these contributors to encompass ideas of hospitality, family, domesticity, sexuality, social class, and lack of food, among other issues. And the excerpt I'm going to be reading is from Sarwat Hassan's Stone's Soup. Everyone is their own favourite cook. You don't have to be good at putting food together for this to be true, just basically competent. No one else will really cook dishes the way you like them. No one else will add exactly the right amount of salt, the ratio of turmeric to cumin that is precisely suited to your taste buds. You can love a restaurant for its pasta or biryani, or the specific fluffy bread they serve, or the perfectly rolled dumplings. But if that chef came over to make you breakfast, they would still probably not put enough salt on your eggs or butter your toast exactly how you might like. Their pancakes might be too thin, too crisp, when you prefer yours pudgy. Late in the evening, in an empty house, you can cook for yourself, snacking on nuts while you wait for the simmer of a sauce, because there is no one there to judge you or to split the snacks with. A tomato sauce, Marcella Hazan style perhaps, something simple, rich, luxurious. Or the Alison Roman recipe shallots. I own one good piece of cookware, a blue Le Creuset that I could only afford because they were discontinuing the size, probably because it's too small to do any real cooking with. But it is perfect for caramelizing 4 to 5 shallots, which have been thinly sliced and left to cook in a cast iron pan over a low flame with a generous pinch of salt till they turn soft and jammy. When you taste one, the flesh will be as tender and sweet in your mouth as a piece of fruit. Put on the music that you like the most, that no one else shares a love for, Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton, and sing along badly to it. Try out your best Nick Cave. Then add anchovies and chili flakes and a whole tube of tomato paste, which seems like too much, but is not. Season as you go, always. Wait for the tomato to also go jammy, dark. It is a generous recipe. You save half in a jar as a gift for your future self, to spread on good bread or eat with eggs. The other half is softened up with pasta water and the spaghetti draped into it, shiny and satin brown. Eat in silence with a drink you've earned just for making yourself a delicious meal, or with the kind of lazy podcast that makes you feel as if friends are in the room, but you don't have to participate in the conversation. Or watch again the movie everyone else is sick of sitting through with you, even though you find yourself so homely, with every viewing, the jokes landing deeper in you. Mine is Moonstruck, a good film about food. Each time they make eggs in that movie, I feel hungry. Or Goodfellas, which is the best film about pasta, the thinly sliced garlic cloves melting in a way that I do not believe is gastronomically possible. Because cooking is an expression of true, earnest love, the desire to feed and delight. When you were cooking for your family, your friends, your lover, you were trying to tell them something true. And you can tell yourself that too, even if the truth is that you like bucatini better than most, or that you had to use the 2 tins of anchovies because you began spreading them first on crackers and then ate them while you waited for the shallots. Cook to make time stop, to make pain stop, but also just because food is good. You do not need to learn anything from the act of chopping onions. Just let yourself cry and enjoy them when they're crispy. There are no lessons here, only the simple pleasures of greed. Thank you.